Welcome to this week's Video Tech A newsletter on Monday the 14th of April 2008. Tech A is where we analyse and look at the key indices of the CAC, the Dow, Nasdaq, Nikkei, DAX and the FTSE over the coming week, and we also analyse using data from previous weeks, months and years where the respective index may possibly go over the coming week. So here we have the CAC. As we can see, one of the things we noted last week was that there's a relatively tight range between 5,000 and 4,800. This 4,800 was pretty much a resistance, and then it broke above that, but has fallen back down beneath it. So we can now see that back again as being almost a resistance again. What we're likely to see throughout the coming week is, I would imagine, a trading range between around about 4,700 to 4,900 within this range, with it sometimes popping up above this resistance. It's really this resistance that we're seeing a great deal of consolidation around, and for it to even break above that, we need to see a clear break above 5,000 for it to even move up and above this wider, broader consolidation. At the moment, there is just going to be this broad consolidation between around about 4,700 and maybe as high as 5,000 with the CAC. Moving now on to the Dow Jones. With the Dow, previously we noted that there is quite a strong resistance at around about 12,600. There still is that resistance. The markets haven't opened as I record this, probably seconds away from opening as I record this. But as I am recording this, there is a very strong resistance at around about 12,500, 12,600. We're likely to see a consolidation, more of the same of what we've seen recently over the last sort of month since mid-January. So I don't think, certainly for the majority of this week, that this is likely to change significantly. We're likely to see some relatively strong moves within this range as things, any form of information sort of adds a degree of bullishness or bearishness to the index over the coming week. So we're likely to see that be almost overreacted sometimes when that does happen. But the majority of the time we're going to see the chart trade within this range and stick within that certainly for the coming foreseeable future. Moving on to the Nasdaq. We can see the Nasdaq actually managed to break above the resistance at 18,100. Appeared to land at another resistance, which probably stems back way back if we put a strong resistance line. Yeah, we can see it's from this period here. We can see there's a point of consolidation that's causing the current point of resistance for the Nasdaq. It's fallen back down. Simply, it's following suit with the Dow, and we're likely to see it trade within this range, this lower range, if anything. So that's the Nasdaq. Moving now on to the Nikkei, consolidating a little bit, as we can expect with the majority of these indices over this sort of next few months. We're going to see more consolidation and more erratic moves. It certainly becomes harder to trade when they're like that. Indices certainly become easier to trade when they're trending. When they're more erratic like this, they're very difficult. We're likely to see this become a bit of a support. It's not going to be exactly at 13,000, but we're going to see some sort of choppy moves around about 13,000. But be aware that there is a very strong consolidation between 13,000 and 13,750, and this could break, considering that there is a downturn, that there is a bearish trend there, and force it further down through this resistance down to 12,500 and maybe even further down, as we've seen previously, to 12,000 and below. So that's the Nikkei. Moving now on to the FTSE. FTSE's been relatively bullish recently, surprisingly really. It looks to be within a range of a sort of almost a broad range of 5,700 to 6100, and this sort of trading range is it's certainly a very strong resistance at 6100. That's not likely to be broken. We appear to have reached a sort of a limit, an even slightly lower limit within that at 6,000. So we could see that sort of as a midpoint between those two consolidation, this period of consolidation here. And in fact, as we look at the markets today, it's fallen below that at 5855 as it's currently trading at. So we're likely to see certainly very much a consolidation between these 2 points, 6,000 and 5750, over the coming week. Considering that the FTSE is moving back down into a very erratic downward trend, and certainly within a broader consolidation at the moment, we're not going to see any huge moves above 6100. I'll be very surprised if we did, and we're more likely to see just a consolidation within this range for the coming week. Finally, now onto the DAX. Similar to the CAC, quite negative, falling down to 600. With that strong bearish candle, likely to break down and move further down over the coming week to 6,400. So as we can see, with the majority of the indices over the coming week, there's degrees of consolidation within ranges. There's been some relatively strong bullish moves at times, but they've hit very strong resistances. So there's likely a very unlikely possibility of them breaking out. So we're going to see more of what we've seen previously with stronger consolidations, quite erratic moves within those consolidations, and more of the same of what we've seen over the certain last few weeks, which probably to many of you is not so much of a surprise. So that's this week's TechA video newsletter on Monday the 14th of April 2008. We'll be back next week with another video newsletter looking back on what's happened with the indices over this past week and looking ahead to the following week. For those of you watching this on YouTube or any other video service, you can find out more about Insight Support on www.insightsupport.com. That's INSIGHTSUPPORT.com, insightsupport.com. So we'll be back next Monday, and we'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.